So here's a question for you. What makes a horse worth more than a private jet? Now, in the very exclusive world of elite equine athletes, that's not a joke. It's just a fact of life. Today, we're diving deep into what makes these incredible animals not just champions, but really strategic investments and living, breathing legacies. You know, for centuries, horses have been this powerful symbol of nobility, of prestige. But in today's elite market, that prestige is measured in a very, very tangible way. To give you an idea, let me just throw a number out there that really captures the scale of this world. $70 million. Yep, back in the year 2000, that was the price paid for a thoroughbred stallion. His name was Fusaichi Pegasus, and this was after he won the Kentucky Derby. To this day, he is still the most expensive horse that has ever been sold. And look, it's a fair question, right? How is that even possible? Well, over the next few minutes, my goal here is to give you a real insider's view. We're going to move you from being just a spectator to being a truly informed observer who really understands the complex dance of genetics, athleticism, and pure ambition that defines this entire world. All right, so where does all this value even start? Well, it begins with the breed itself. So let's meet the 7 breeds that experts are projecting will be among the most valuable in the world. Think of these as the archetypes of equine excellence. Okay, here's the lineup. And you can see these breeds really represent different kinds of value. You've got your raw athletes, like the American quarter horse, a total master of the sprint, and the standardbred, which is an absolute powerhouse in harness racing. Then you have your Olympic caliber performers, the Selle Francais and the Dutch warmblood, bred specifically for those elite disciplines like show jumping and dressage. And finally, you've got the heritage icons, the absolutely stunning Gypsy Vanner, the elegant Andalusian, and of course, the timeless Arabian, valued for their beauty, their history, and their rarity. And this right here, this is a perfect example of that spectrum of value I'm talking about. On one hand, you've got the American standardbred. It's a pure racing machine, valued for its function, for its speed. But on the other end, you have the Gypsy Vanner, which is prized for this rare, captivating beauty. Both of them command immense value, but for completely different reasons. Okay, so we've got the breed, but beyond that, what are the actual, tangible factors that stack up to create these multi-million-dollar price tags? How does an animal's worth climb to those heights? Let's break down the anatomy of a price. Well, first off, you have to look at what the horse is for, its intended purpose. And the data from market experts is pretty clear. Competition is a massive driver. 40% of high-value horses are bought specifically to compete. It's simple, really. Top-tier athletes are going to command top-tier prices. But listen, beyond its job, the single, and I mean the single most important factor is its bloodline. A pedigree isn't just a family tree, it's a blueprint for potential. Seeing names like Northern Dancer or Secretariat in a horse's ancestry, well, that's like finding out a painting has a little sketch by Picasso on the back. It signals a masterpiece in the making. And when you actually look at the data from big auctions, you can see how all these factors combine into a kind of formula for value. Being sired by a champion, having that official registration, being the perfect age and height, catching the eye of international buyers, and, of course, having a proven track record. Each one of those can add another 0 to the final price tag. Okay, let's get practical. I want to translate all this knowledge into a real skill for you. When you look at an elite horse, what should you actually be looking for? This is your masterclass on how to watch and evaluate these animals with a true expert's eye. So when an expert walks up to a horse, they're not just looking at a pretty animal. They are following a very specific 4-step process. They start with the bloodlines, that's the genetic potential. Then they assess what's called conformation, that's the physical structure. After that, temperament, does it have the mind of a champion? And finally, they review the performance history, the actual proof that it all works. And this is so important to understand. While the pedigree shows the potential for greatness, it's the conformation that shows the physical capability to actually achieve it. A horse's body is an engine, and its angles, its balance, its entire structure has to be perfectly engineered for its specific job. It's where art and biomechanics meet. But here's the thing. Even if you have the perfect pedigree and flawless conformation, none of it is a guarantee. This elite horse market is a world of incredible risk. At its heart, it is a high-stakes gamble where fortunes are made and lost on the turn of a hoof. Let me tell you a bit of a cautionary tale. Let's talk about a horse named the Green Monkey. As a descendant of two of the absolute greatest racehorses in history, Northern Dancer and Secretariat, this horse was basically genetic royalty. His potential was seen as almost limitless. So at auction, that potential fetched an absolutely staggering price, $16 million. At the time, that was a world record for a 2-year-old horse. The entire racing world was holding its breath, just waiting for the next superstar to arrive. And yet, after all that, after $16 million was spent, what did that investment earn on the racetrack? $10,000. That's it. He raced only 3 times, never won, and became perhaps the most expensive and public failure in the history of racing. This stark contrast just shows you the brutal reality of the market. On one side, Fusaichi Pegasus, sold for a mind-boggling $70 million, becomes a champion and a successful sire. On the other, the Green Monkey, sold for $16 million, becomes a cautionary tale. A high price tag is simply a bet on the future. It is never, ever a guarantee of success. So you have to be asking, why would anyone take such an enormous risk? Well, as horse buyer Alex Elliott put it after a multi-million euro purchase, the goal isn't just to win a single race. The ultimate prize is to build a dynasty, to acquire a bloodline so powerful that it influences the breed for generations to come. And that really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? In a world where passion, prestige, and pure potential gallop side by side, is the ultimate prize really the money you win and the price you sell for? Or is it the chance to create a legacy that will echo through the ages? That's the real question at the heart of this incredible high-stakes world.